want to think about time. Radio of the problem of the young world today is trying to think about how they happen to be, and is it worthwhile now that you do have some time in hand? What ought you be doing with it? I find that there's never been very much more of a posing of the question than that of Shakespeare when he spoke about man as a theatre goer, to be pleased or displeased with his play of life. When I began to try to find important questions that seemed to be fundamental, needing answer before we could get other kind of answers, I felt that the question of whether man had a function in the universe, whether he was necessary in the universe, seemed to be the most important one to be solved. To understand man's function in the universe, you would have to have immediate reference to the most important scientific findings of our recent decades. Just in the last decade, we've come to the understanding of the astrophysicists, those are people, physicists who are dealing with the very largest patterns of all the energies and all the stars, as well as thinking in terms of the atoms. An astrophysicist, being a physicist, is concerned with the nucleus, but he's also concerned with the very largest. So he's both microcosmic. Take on energy and can't take it in and up through his own skin, and the only place where we get our energy from is from other parts of the universe. And he has to understand the relationships of the very big and the very little. And he's come to the realization that no matter how that we have in the vicinity of our particular planet, the chemical elements of high order number like uranium and the isotopes of uranium, these large number aggregates begin to come apart gradually. They have after a certain amount of time, they separate into plurality of other elements of lower order number. So that there is in the vicinity of Earth a continual separating out into lower order number, working towards the hydrogen. But the fact that there are high order number elements in the universe means that there must be some place where they occur. So the astrophysicist, dealing with both the stars and the nucleus, feels that it is very probable that the high order number elements have been the consequence of the very powerful forces operative in the star, where not only do you have the great explosive forces outwardly, there has to be, every action has a reaction, so there are implosive forces, and then within the implosive forces of those stars we get the higher order elements. And we are finding that our Earth is receiving this kind of energy in the form of stardust, cosmic radiation, continually, so that the higher order elements may probably have been delivered to us from our celestial resources. Now, we also do know that the core of Earth, we don't know this, but the working assumption core of Earth really relatively very few elements, but very large numbers of chemical elements present on our Earth are all near the surface crust. They seem to have come to us from other stars. And that no matter how much things come apart, they finally do not come any further apart than the interrelationship of the proton and the neutron. The proton and the neutron always and only coexist. And the proton and the neutron also have, every action has to have a reaction, has to have also a resultant, which is not the same as a reaction, because there's always a time lag between the reaction and the resultant. Because no event is instant, so it always has some duration, and the resultant is different. The speed of light had not been measured till we came into this century. And with the measurement, and nobody even supposed that light had a speed. Therefore, all of the scientists before our century, looking at the stars, assumed that every star was always right there. We had what we call instant universe, which is a complete misapprehension. We had instant universe. Universe was in a sense a thing, a static. With Einstein's paying great attention to Michelson-Morley's experiment, which demonstrated that light does have speed. It takes 8 minutes for light to get to us from the sun. It takes us light 2.5 years to get to us from the next nearest star. If you're looking at one star out here at night, and it's a live show taking place 30,000 years ago. The light just getting you this second. Right next to it is a star, a live show 3,000 years ago. Right next to it is a live show 20 years ago. Einstein said quite clearly, our universe is an aggregate of non-simultaneous and only partially overlapping events. Each one of these is transforming. Some of those stars are not even there anymore. We have then, he said, a scenario. Universe is a scenario. As, for instance, we have a man who's born, and then he gets to be a father, and he has his children, grandchildren, then he dies. They go on. But looking at the sky here, we're still seeing grandfather. So we're getting really the scenario report to us in an odd manner, very disorderly way. But universe is scenario. Now, that is just of this century that we think that way, and society is not yet thinking that way. Also then, in view of the entropy, Einstein said, I see that this child is growing up and getting bigger. Therefore, I don't think, as the scientists have been thinking up to then, that energies were always, the universe is running down. He said, I think when the energy leaves this local system, it is taken on by another system. Scientific review of experiments shows that's exactly what was going on. So only in this century have we come to discover that the energies are not lost, the universe is not running down, and our new norm is not Einstein's norm, which is that energy is always transforming, and the very highest velocities at which things can transform and change, the rate at which energy goes right away from itself radiantly, which is at the speed of light. So 186,000 miles a second is normal. Anything we call matter is where the energies trip themselves up like knots and develop local constriction and become something we call matter. But they're going around at the same speed, but very, very locally. Every local system giving off energy then must be affecting other systems. We find this is exactly what goes on. All the living creatures, for instance, are continually affecting the environment. The environment becomes changed, and the changed environment affects the creatures. This is the way in which the universe is evolving, therefore